Hey Sagittarius, Mariah here. I'm going to go ahead and get into your general reading for the month of October. So let's see what's happening with you guys. Hopefully you guys have been okay, you've been well, doing just fine. So what's happening for our Sagittariuses? October, what they need to know. Four of Swords, just breathe. Eight of Swords, helpless and hopeless. Okay, what's going on, Sag? Wheel of Fortune on the bottom. That's just how this energy made me feel. That's literally how this energy just made me feel. Whew. I would say this to you, Sagittarius. I don't know what you're going through in the month of October, but I wish you well. I don't know what you're experiencing, but I will say this because we got the Wheel of Fortune and Hierophant. Spiritual transition, spiritual transformation. It will be okay. It'll be fine. That's what we tell ourselves. But will it really be? Trying to find the balance between sanity and normality and insanity and going stir crazy. This is just a mental jigsaw here. I only pulled 4 cards and your reading just drank me. I didn't even get started yet. Your reading just completely went. Whew. But again, though, Sagittarius, like I asked, will it be okay? Will it not be okay? These are questions that we ask. I will say too, all of this is part of a lesson, understanding. You're being taught something very imperative right now. All of you would be completely different, of course. But in the process of learning, we juggle our own internal sanity and stability and where we feel and where we're at and how we're feeling about things and how we're not feeling about things. Your stability in some way, shape, or form is being impacted, whether it's internally, which it strongly does feel, or if it's externally. Your stability is being impacted and financial constraints. Okay. Tell me more for my Sagittarius in the month of October. All right, come on, cards. We got time for you all day. For my Sagittarius, Goddess of the Moon. Walking away. Bottom of the deck is the World. And we got the Wheel of Fortune. So grand opening, grand closing, or vice versa, right? Grand closing, grand opening. But there's a reset, right? This is what it feels like. This is a milestone for remembrance in your life. The reset button is now being pressed. Unfortunately, with pressing the reset button, well, there comes a new set of lessons and things we have to get accustomed to, and a new way of life and a new way of thinking, right? All these different paradigm shifts that came with the closing of the last chapter, now into the entrance of the new chapter, trying to find the balance between insanity and sanity, right? Trying to find the balance in between actual in the 3D, stability and instability. Because with this financial constraints here, not only can this talk about a form of financial setback or difficulty, but it also feels like your reserves, right, when it comes to thyself, right? The funds that you have in regards to you are depleting. This is a tough energy, Sagittarius. I don't know what happened, because the last reading we did, it was very exciting and I was pumped up and I was feeling invigorated. And in your general reading, it's just kind of, there's a lot of difficulty that you're dealing with, but it's not happening to you, it's happening for you, because again, grand closing, grand opening, or grand opening to grand closing. There's lessons here that you're being taught, and with this helpless and hopeless, it may feel like life is happening to you and not for you. right? There's a lot of retreating energy, a lot of restorative energy with this Four of Swords, meditative energy, really trying to think. There's a lot of swords here. I'm just going to say that for this kind of spread, there's a lot of swords here. I don't care if there's two. There's too many. Two is too many in this spread, and I don't like the two that's here. So which path, which way, which direction do you go now? Now that you've had this grand closing, or now that you're entering into this grand opening? Finding that balance. We also have, like I said, Goddess of the Moon, which talks about intuitive insights, intuition and downloads, being guided, divinely guided, being protected and directed or redirected by spirit. So what's happening to you in this energy of helpless and hopeless and trying to find that balance in between sanity and insanity? It's not happening for no reason, right? Now you can look at the surface level. Well, these things are happening because of X, Y, and Z, and my husband or my friend or my business or this project, etc. Sure, all of that is surface, but that's not the real root, right? You're just pointing out the catalyst for the root, but it's not the root. See, the root here is that Spirit's talking about transformation, transitioning, transforming. It's a really interesting energy, but it's not a light one, right? Walking away. There's something that you either walked away from or will need to be walking away from in the month of October. Oh, what you doing here? Hold on. Bye. You two don't belong here. Bye. And you don't either. Bye. But yeah, there's something that you've walked away or you need to walk away from that you've learned your lesson from. You've learned the lessons you needed to learn. Hopefully you've extrapolated all of the gems within that lesson, and now you can discard it, right? You no longer need it. Walking away from it. Needing to walk away from it. Are you strong enough to do so? I would say so. I would say you are. But here, there's a lot of swords, not a lot of wands. Not any wands, I should actually say. And, you know, wands, you as a fire suitor element, gives you that strength, courage, bravery, and drive. It's missing here. So how do we regain that sense of strength, courage, and bravery to enter and walk into this new cycle or to close out an old cycle? Tell me more for my Sagittarius this month of October. Stand still. Yeah. A situation in your life may be at a standstill right now, but purity, again, this is grand opening, grand closing. Whatever you've been through, that needs to be washed away and wiped out of your life so that way you can have a new slate, right? Or that's already been done. That's what's happening now, right? You're walking into a brand new slate, a brand new place in your life, a brand new space that's completely clean. But now the actions that you take next going towards whatever it is that you're trying to go towards, from using the lessons that you've learned, that you've extrapolated, what do you now do with it? Again, that balance in between sanity and insanity. Tell me more, Spirit. Some of you may have been feeling like your finances have been at a standstill. Some of you may have felt like a certain area in your life just has been at a standstill. Bottom of the deck is patience. I like it. You know why I like it? Because it's very realistic, right? A lot of tarot videos can be a little more fairy tale, if you will. This is very realistic because through this this literally feels like a transitional period, which is uncomfortable. And there's a lot of downtime in transitional periods, right? There's a lot of quiet space, and then boom, things start picking up and rolling again, right? So in this downtime of where you're needing your rest and relaxation, or you're needing a breather before this new start in your life, or after this closeout, take it. Take the time to cleanse your energy, clear your space, clear your mental, because I'm seeing this juggling act. And this juggling act with this Two of Pentacles is going two ways. For some of you, it's mentally, psychologically, emotionally, this juggling act. For others of you, it's this financial aspect, right? But the reason why I'm saying here, this feels very realistic, because we got this patience. So it you know, a lot of change happens behind the scenes. And we got the number 5, which also indicates change. A lot of change happens behind the scenes, and while change is happening behind the scenes, on the forefront of things, we don't know what's going on. We don't see any change happening. We're like, okay, well, what's going on in my life? Hello, not, right? But on the back end, things are being done, and guess what? This energy, whether this is a grand opening or a grand closing for you, Sagittarius, there's so much thriving energy that's going to come from this. So in this hopeless and helpless energy that you may be in, you may be getting signs and reminders telling you you're on the right path, because we also got Goddess of the Moon, which is telling me your psychic and intuitive insights are on point. They're very sharp in the month of October. So you're going to get symbols and signs and synchronicities letting you know that, Sagittarius, keep going. Listen deeply. Exactly. The bottom of the deck is divine timing, if you can see. So you're getting these reminders that, Sagittarius, even though it may feel like you walk alone, you're not. Even though you may not know where you're going, you're walking in a dark room, your eyes are closed and your hands out in front of you trying to fill a wall or something. It's like, just keep moving forward. Just even if you got to do that, trying to push your way through. Just keep going, don't stop. Because we got the wheel in motion. The wheel is turning, and it's turning in your favor. But this is something that is divinely destined here, because we got the Hierophant, right? And we got the Goddess of the Moon, which talks about your connection to spirituality, intuition, the other side, psychic insights. So you're throughout this entire process, Sag, you're being guided. You absolutely are, but it just feels very unsettling. This energy feels very unsettling, because when does everything come to full completion? Or when does this get started? When can I start this? Or when can I finally close out this chapter in my life? Or when can I start this new chapter? There's like you're teetering here. Because it's not a full-on grand closing. It's not a full-on grand opening. It's like either you just closed out a cycle and now you haven't started the new, so you're kind of in this impasse. Or you're starting this new cycle, but it really hasn't started, so you're just kind of at the precipice, just kind of like, okay. And it's that weird in-between energy that I'm feeling here. Because it's silence right now. Everything is just silent. Things are at a standstill. And when do I leap? When do I jump? When do I move forward? Or when, now that this old cycle is closed out, when does the new cycle begin, right? Like, when can you're in this weird phase in the month of October, Sagittarius. But again, the wheel is turning. It's just the change is happening on the back end, which unfortunately on the back end we can't see. Tell me more for my Sagittarius in the month of October. Way too many. Tell me more for my Sagittarius in the month of October. Thank you. And what do we have? The unknown. The unknown. Knowing the unknown. And that's the phase that you are, where you are at. You don't know the unknown, right? Grand closing, grand opening. But you don't know what's on the other side. So it's just this waiting period of what's coming. And for each and every one of you, it will be absolutely different. Absolutely different. But Sagittarius, as you are, the explorer, the adventurer, you set a trail on fire and never look back. You keep it moving, you keep going. So I can understand this being a little bit different, but if there's any sign that will take on the unknown, it's you, right? But it's just this weird, either somebody is waiting, they're getting impatient, or they're lacking patience, or not knowing. Big happy changes. Big happy changes. I love this for you. So again, things are turning out in your favor, whatever this is, but you're just in the in-between. You're in the impasse right now. And as uncomfortable as being in an impasse can be, or we'll say purgatory, right? You're not really in heaven, you're not really in hell, you're just kind of in a holding cell, right? Waiting for this new chapter to begin, or now that the old chapter is closed out, what's next? Whatever it may be, you're in this purgatory energy. But when do we get out of it? When am I no longer on the borderline of sanity and insanity. Interesting read, Sagittarius. I don't know why this is very interesting. Let me pull one more on this. For my Sagittarius is. And I don't read this deck in reverse, just okay, thank you. 8 of Cups. There is something better waiting for you. Do what you know is right. A spiritual quest. 8 of Raphael. And that's exactly what you're on. A spiritual quest. You're leaving something behind, or you've already left something behind. Or you're getting to that page of leaving something behind, but you're going on, this is a spiritual quest. The next chapter has to start. But it hasn't yet. So we're in this impasse in the month of October. I would say to you then, Sagittarius, buckle your seatbelt, tie up your shoes, make sure that you've drank enough water, you got something good and healthy to eat, okay? Because once this cycle starts coming in, this wheel starts turning, you're going to need all the energy you'll need, because this is something that is really going to grow you in so many different ways, in so many different aspects, in so many different avenues. It's going to pull you left, right, up, down, twist and tie you all over. Right? And then you'll look back and be like, kind of miss when things were just a little more quiet in my life. Now everything's picked up and thriving. Right? You're going to miss those little down moments. So enjoy the down moments while you can. I know it's in a helpless and hopeless energy. Please try your best not to stay in that specific energy, but I understand it's hard not to. But again, you're going on a spiritual quest. And this is beautiful. So let's say Aquarius. Some of you guys may be dealing with Aquarius. The Sagittarius. I'm going to leave it here. I love you so much. Happy October to you. And I wish you well. Bye.